Hi guys, it's Lisa. Thanks for stopping at my channel. Welcome back. Here's my inspiration for the piece today. This is a towel from work and then a rubber stamp that I had laying on my desk. I'm going to work in my art journal book today, and I'm going to create a mixed media piece on one of these pages. This book is got lots of different designs in it, and I thought this one would fit right along in. And this is an in and out book by Grumbacher, and I'll list it below. It's got really heavy duty paper. This is my online class number 1 I was showing there, and if you're interested in that, just let me know. So I'm picking out my paint colors from my paint swatches that match this towel, and I really loved the green and the blue, and so I picked out colors that I thought would work perfect. Now you'll be surprised how the end result works to this piece. It has nothing to do with the towel in the end, but I do have the green and blue on it and circles. I'm covering my piece of heavy duty mixed media paper with some gesso, and I'm doing that because I wanted it to be a little bit sturdier to take all the different paint and texture that we're going to put on the piece. I'm just using a soft brush. After this is dry, I'm going to use this brayer, and it has a texture to it. It kind of looks like linen or woven texture, and it gives the background a really cool vibe. So I thought that I would use it, and just dabbing it on with my palette knife, and then decided to use a little bit of a sponge. I also put some darker brown there to go with the cream color that I have added to the background. Here you can really see the texture picking up. It's a pretty cool brayer, and I was just trying to use things that I had in my stash, and I liked the outcome. So I had a lot of paint left over on my palette there, and of course I had to go and get my art journal book and go ahead and put some of that paint in my art journal book. This stencil I'm going to use is by Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to give this paint a dry there so that I don't create a mess to my really cool background that's starting to form. It doesn't take long. So now I'm going to use the blue, and this is a different type of paint. I got it when I was in Creativation in January, and I took a Seth Apner class, and he provided us with this paint. So again, I'll link all the products below for you in case there's anything that you may need. I'm putting it through the stencil with a piece of cut and dry foam. Look at that great pattern. It's called Swirls and Dots, and again, it's by Simon Says Stamp. Today was really a fun, relaxing project, and I was really happy with the end results. So I'm hoping you're going to like the process also. Just going to create my 3 different areas on my piece, and I didn't want to cover up my texture background that I had started to create with that brayer work. So I thought just the top, middle, and then the bottom. What a great stencil. So here's where I was going to use up that paint and put it in my art journal book for a later date. I just can't bear wasting product. So I'm going to go ahead and use up the paint. So here's another of the paints that I got in Creativation, and this purple color is really neat. I thought that this stencil, it's kind of a mosaic tile, and I'm going to use just a makeup sponge to go ahead and create another layer of dimension with this stencil. and just dabbing through the stencil with the makeup sponge and overlapping a bit of the blue just so that it creates visual interest. There, isn't that neat? Now, I've been doing some online classes, and if anyone is interested, I've done 2 so far, and they're both on my website for purchase. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know, and I can also introduce you to some people that took the class, and you can hear their comments about it. So there I had a lot of my paint smushed through my stencil, so I went back and wiped that off with a baby wipe, and I'm going to clean my stencil and go back and try it again. Wiping it with my finger did not work so well, and that's when it mushed through. So I'm going back and using the makeup sponge. That works the best for me. Stenciling is such a rewarding task, isn't it? When you pull that stencil back to see what you got. Oh yeah, that's much better. And I'm just going to put a little bit over here on the middle left. I really like using stencils in my work. Now this stencil, I'm not sure who it's by. I'll try and find it. I'm guessing it may be Crafter's Workshop. And again, I will try and find it. If not, I will link something very, very similar. So I'm just drying that layer of paint, and then we're going to do some splatters with that purple because there were a few drips on there, and I liked it. So I'm using the paint, and it has a little brush in it, and it worked really well for the purple splatters. Now I'm going to let it dry, and I'll be right back at you. Here we go. Everything's dry, and I was thinking about doing the stencil, and then I thought maybe I wanted to do these circles with some white gesso. So I'm going to put the gesso on this little scrap of packaging. I like to use it as a palette so I don't waste anything. And I go ahead and put this bubble wrap onto the gesso and then onto my piece. This bubble wrap has really big bubbles, and I liked when I pulled it off the texture that it was creating there. And I think you could see it when I held it up to the light. And by adding that white over the top of some of that blue and purple, it pulled it all together and didn't make it look like it was 3 different pieces. I wanted the piece to, come all together so that it was very cohesive. That I really, really love. I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to use my heat tool because that gesso is a little bit thick. So now, look at it, it's coming together. Now I'm going to use that stencil with the green olive paint. And again, I'm just pouring it on my piece of plastic there so I can pick up the paint with the makeup sponge. Just cutting the end off of an old one. That makes the makeup sponges very, very affordable. You can use them several times. And I'm just randomly putting these circles down onto my piece. very relaxing piece, and I used a lot of products that were in my stash, so it's really nice to get out some things that you haven't used in a while. This stencil, I'm not sure where it's from either. I apologize. I have started to write on the back of my stencils the company that they're from, but this one is an older one, and like I said, I will try and find it and link it below, or I will get very, very close. I liked that it had all the different sizes of circles on there, and it's very versatile, and I think I use it in a lot of projects. So we're already getting close to the end of June. The summer is going very, very fast. It's just been a different world with this coronavirus out there, and now having more and more outbreaks where I live in Wisconsin. You would just wish it would be over soon. I wonder if we'll ever get back to normal. There, I'm really liking that green color, and it really shows the background through, so I think that's a neat element. It's kind of transparent compared to the other paint, which is more opaque. Just cleaning up my stencil a little bit before I go and hang it back up. Here's a new one that I got, and I was thinking that I would use it on the background, and then I was thinking about this stamp that I wanted to incorporate, and that one stencil just never did make it onto the piece, but you know it will soon. I'll make sure I use it. Here's a great stencil that I have, and it has all of these wonderful words on it. Now this stencil, I'm pretty sure, is from Folk Art, and it's nice because there's lots of space between the words, so you don't have to do any masking when you're using the stencil. I'm using my jet black archival ink and a makeup brush, and going ahead and putting some of these words down randomly to my piece. Create, imagine, inspire, and be happy. And that's what I was feeling today. I was feeling that I just needed to create and be happy and provide some quality project for you so that you can follow along and enjoy watching. I appreciate you visiting my channel, and it's growing. It's just taking a long time to grow, but that's all right. We have lots of time, I hope. One never knows. The black with the green and the blue and the purple really makes a great pop to the background. Oh, and Believe also. Believe I thought was perfect for this because I do believe that I'm providing some type of form of art and entertainment for you. I really enjoy doing it, and I hope you enjoy following along. It makes me happy. There. Doesn't that look cool? I think it does. Now what? Okay, we're going to use some black acrylic paint, and here is a little mixture of black paint and I think it's airbrush medium. I will check it out, and it's something that Sean Petit has turned me on to, and I just have a little squeeze bottle here, and it really makes some cool texture and doodling, and I thought it really made the piece pop. Wiping off the tip, and then I'm placing a pin in that long tip of the bottle so that it doesn't dry out. Here's some used rolls from tape, and I'm just putting it in my acrylic paint and adding some more circles. The whole part about creating is just going ahead and letting yourself go. Now I have a larger used up tape roll here also, and I thought that the two different sizes would be nice. I went around some of the circles there. It fit perfect. Just another different texture with that black acrylic paint there. And knowing when to stop too, I guess that's sometimes the challenge that we might have. When is enough enough? When are you done? And so now I did incorporate that stamp, and I am using my black archival ink again, and this stamp was something that I got from a magazine. They come right on the front of the stamps, on front of the magazine, excuse me, and the magazine is just great. It's called, let me see, it's called the Craft Stamper magazine. And like I said, the one small stamp comes with each magazine. And then I wanted to make sure I had an odd number, so I'm doing it 5 times. And isn't that just great? I really like that stamp. I think it'll really look cool on some cards. And then I got out my Posca pens and just filling in where it wasn't the total complete area around the rubber stamp or acrylic stamp. And then I wanted to fill in the gaps with my stenciling there. There was a couple of open spaces on the words. So I just used my Posca paint pens for that. And I have an orange Sharpie laying there. And I wanted the orange Sharpie just to fill in the little dots on the flowers, just to add another color and have your eye have a bit more interest. And the orange is a real good pop. I was having a little problem with my pen there, so you'll see it does explode on the piece. But it's just paint, it'll be fine. I tried to wipe it off and I made a little bit of a mess, so I just wiped it, went back, fixed it with my Posca paint pen, and continued on. It's not a big deal. It's art. So I'll go ahead and finish all of the orange dots, and I'll be back to show you what I do next. Alright, now of course I needed to do that black edge. I love doing that black edge, and I'm using my black Marabou crayon. Just wanted to put down a little bit of paper so that it would slide with my finger there. And I'm going all the way around the piece, and I really love how it finishes it and gives it that great border. Pulls it all together, that's for sure. I hope you enjoyed this project. Please leave me comments below and subscribe if you haven't. I'd so appreciate you to hang out with all of us on my channel. And I'll be back on Tuesday so that we can do something else together. Create some happiness. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.